Let me tell you a little bit about our featured poet of the night. Her name is Saini Cisse. She is the 2021 Prince George's Youth Poet Laureate and student at Prince George's Community College, where she has an arts concentration and is a recipient of the Dual to Degree Scholarship. She is an alumni of Eleanor Roosevelt class of 2020 and Joe's Movement Emporium's Creative Works class of 2020. Saini was also a 2020 Youth Poet Ambassador representing the city of Greenbelt, Maryland. Shout out to all of our Greenbelters. And the winner of the 2020 Words, Beats, and Life Slam season, becoming part of their DMV Slam team. She has performed for Brave New Voices International Youth Poetry Slam, the Kennedy Center, and the Smithsonian Museum of African Art. She has also been featured in several virtual poetry slams and open mics since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, such as TWP The Movement, Get Loud, Screen Time Slam, and Bus Boys and Poets. Since becoming Youth Poet Laureate, she has interviewed with Prince George's Sweet Magazine, Sojourn with Words, WUSA 9, NBC4, and Poet Life podcast. As a Gambian American, her poetry touches on topics like Blackness and identity, social injustice, mental health, and gender issues. She seeks to find and build community through her poetry and is a teen advocate for literacy, encouraging her fellow teens to write and share their story. Aside from poetry, Saini also is interested in sewing, fashion design, photography, and works from digital media collective known as the Media Bureau. She also volunteers with Prince George's Mutual Aid to help members of her community. Without further ado, Saini Cisse.
Thank you for that introduction. Okay, before I even do like any poems, any type of anything, you guys, my heart was so full. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, with the little kids, and then everybody was just so amazing. Like, I was just so overwhelmed with just like cuteness and amazing pieces, and just like going through the different journeys of each of y'all's poems and just feeling that, especially like since COVID and how the library was closed, that's definitely something that I felt. But I'm also just feeling and basking in that love of the library because you guys are just such a community staple and resource, and you provide so much to us, and you provide it for free. And there's so much to love about the library, and I love the different variety and ways that y'all were able to express that because it's just there's so much to love, and I just felt that, and I just oh, I'm overwhelmed because you guys are so good, and I'm just so happy to be in this space with you. I'm so happy to PGCMLS for choosing me to host this event. I'm really hoping that we can have a good time. I'll spit some poems for you all. Also, sidebar, if you want to perform in the open mic, just put your name in the chat, and then I'll add you to the list as we go down. But oh my gosh. I just need to take a little bit of moment because I'm just so overwhelmed and so happy to see all of you guys in your faces. It's such a great turnout, and just to even see the families like supporting these kids, like oh, I'm overwhelmed and I'm so happy. And you guys are all so smart and so brilliant, and I'm just so like ah okay. That's my spiel. I'm really happy and overwhelmed and proud of you guys. Like this is such a great little accomplishment. I'm so happy to see that we have so many poets of all ages and who just love the library and are just into their books and their literacy. Like that was me as a kid, and I'm just like, uh, I love it. Little geniuses. Uh, okay, I think I'm done rambling, but I'm just very overwhelmed and happy to see you guys here and to share this space. I'm gonna go into some poems. Um, the first piece that I want to perform for you all today is part of a series of poems that I wrote for Prince George's County because that is my home and I have a love for PG and my community. So, uh, yeah, I'm going to start with this first piece. It is titled Questions. It's a short poem. Um, and I wrote it after Jamal, Mays, There Are Birds Here. Questions for PG County. When I say PG County, do you imagine the boy hoping to shoot his basketball far enough for someone to tell him he can be something? You think of offbeat rapping, using SoundCloud to cloud out the sounds of hunger or wanting. When I mention the crabs, do you see the bucket too, clawing back the wings of those who wish to fly, and not just a really good meal that invites the family in and the neighbors in this poem? Maybe the crack is just coming from the shells. When I say he beats his feet, do you think it's for a beat down, or do you see the dancing too? Limbs lifting and twisting. Does your mind's eye allow you to see his joy? When I say there is swamp water, do you see us as the lotuses and lily pads, or do you find us under the water gasping, submerged in a mud we want to rise from? If I told you about the red line, do you see blood separating us from places we're told we don't deserve to exist in, or would you just think that somebody is going home? That's that piece. It's titled Questions. Um, the next piece that I want to perform for you all is titled The Body Is. It's kind of funny because this piece has really become, like, it's one of my personal favorite poems. And it's just because I feel like it's very central to the essence of my poems. I feel I tend to start from a place of processing emotions and how they feel in the body. And then from there, that's how I try to make sense of the world. And this is a piece that just kind of encapsulates how I perceive and move through my body. So I don't know, it's just kind of become a poem that I like to perform. And it's titled The Body Is. The body is industrial. The body is rot waiting to happen. The body is vibrating light. It can only itch for a rebirth. The body is temporary. It taught me attachment before I let go. The body is organic, orchestral. With moon tide, blood flow, the body is a home or a temple. Even when you never knew what it meant to worship, divine dancing, purposeful presence, the ability to abandon the need to float, the body is an instrument. We danced on autopilot before we remembered. Heaven's entertainers. We can only mimic the things above us and wish for the sky to be kind, for a big thing to choose us, vessel tipping out the divine. So that's my piece. The body is. Um, which poem do I want to do next? I guess following on that theme, another poem that kind of has to deal with those and processing emotions and reimagining the body and how that has to do with how I perceive things in the world. This poem is titled Trying on My Skin. And the white girl tries on my skin for a night out. My skin is laid across the table, harvested for garments, fresh off the body with the blood still dripping. My skin is in season, is the next hope looks still in shape, ready to be worn. She touches it only with the tips of her fingers, pops her limbs into the places mine should be, as if she's returned to the wrong home. She smooths my skin over her bones, pose. She thinks she wears it better than I did. Instagram agrees, my ghost screams click as we cut to the girl dancing through my bent limbs arching. The back she stepped in at the party, they will praise her, and when she wears it somehow, they don't miss who it belonged to. They like the blackness, better as garment than being on her. My skin gets to be a new idea. She gets to be cool in the body I sweat in and take it off. When she goes home, I watch her as she tries to do it without getting blood on her hand. She will call her stealing ethical call. My skin compostable like it can sink straight into the ground once she's done with it. Call my skin renewable resource and multi-use say. Even in the ground, she'll name the daisies hers for the picking, and even here, she doesn't realize that I am still the flower. That piece is titled. Thank you, I
Beautiful,
appreciate it.
beautiful, Saini.
Thank you. There's
Awesome.
there's so much love in this room right now. Like it's really, I didn't know that I needed this. Like I really needed this.
Awesome.
I want to read. I think I want to read my hair. As the week ends, my hair counts the days and tangles. It's all the tightest kinds of alphabet soup, and it seems like this head always asking for something. Scalp itching to be noticed. I parted into the familiar valleys. This hair has always held my memories, my strands. The strands are the garden that I tend to. It remembers the combs that broke from heavy hands and not enough time, so today I'm patient. I step into the shower. I let my strands return to themselves on purpose. My hair is returning to itself, and there is no fight. I apply shampoo, hands to scalp, wash until it sounds like white noise, then smooth in the conditioner with praying hands. This is my best attempt at being brand new. My natural hair is the kind that knows how to shapeshift. I can braid it, and it will give me new roads to travel on. Twist myself into a new reality. I can weave a dream that flows down my back. There are no limits to what I can imagine. My hair holds this much magic. Don't tell me what's not possible. I could have a new reality on my head every day if I wanted to. They say hair is just a bunch of dead cells, but I notice how mine's last move was to go towards the sun once it departed. So when I parted, I find a seed in my hair, and it looks like God created a miracle here too. I come with a crown that takes time to protect and still finds itself in a world that sucks its teeth like once. My teacher threatened to cut off the beads from my braids. When I was too plastic, wind chimes sway. I had a homeroom who rolled their eyes because I changed too fast before they could memorize my name, but in the same room. I am seen by black girls who know what it takes to show up, who reach for the silk insides of their bonnets the same way that I do, after days that ask us to rest. That's hair poem.